What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. Different type of video as well. I'm going to talk about 5 affordable targets for Arsenal's summer transfer window. Now, a lot of the stories over the last few days has been the fact that Arsenal are targeting players that they can sign before the Euros even get started, which of course is a sensible thing to do, because what a mistake Arsenal usually make is they wait for these competitions to finish, and naturally it brings attention to players that we didn't want attention being brought to, and even more importantly, their value skyrockets if they've had a really good tournament. So the ideal situation is you want those people tied up, ready to come to the club before they've even had a chance of being discovered. In this particular situation, I'm going to try and talk about affordable targets and problem areas of places where we need essentially cover. Let's talk about Max Aarons. So Max Aarons is a person that I've been very high on. Very young kid, 20 years old. Got a lot of talent. Defensively very sound. Pretty good going forward, pretty quick, pretty nippy. And the player's only improving. He's also a player that can play as emergency left back if required. And we do seem to have left backs that just get injured just by breathing air. So that might be quite useful. He's a player that to me would represent a serious challenge to Hector Bellerin. For some reason, I got this feeling Hector is not going to last much longer at Arsenal anyway. And I feel like this could be his natural successor. Yes, I know, you're probably sat there thinking, but we got the Cedric Suarez. And listen, if Cedric does well, and you guys know I have my reservations over him. If Cedric does well over the course of the season, then yeah, all right, then cool. Let's bring on Cedric Suarez. But I think for me, if you're looking to step up towards that next level, to compete with your Leicester Cities, which I never thought I'd say that sentence, but compete with your Leicester Cities, compete with your Spurses, your United. United won't be this bad next season. We have to be able to bring some quality in. And Max Aarons represents that quality. He's definitely one for the future, but he's also one that can keep Hector on his toes. And let's face it, Hector Bellerin picks up a lot of injuries. And I think when that inevitably happens, you want to make sure you have some quality in backup. And this, for me, would be the quality in backup that I'd have. What do you guys think, Max Aarons? Also, keeping in mind Norwich are at the bottom of the league. Actually, quite Norwich. I think they play decent football, but their league position doesn't necessarily suggest that. They're bottom of the league, and they are pretty solid favourites to be relegated. And I think interest in Max Aarons will be high. Spurs are said to be the favourites, but I think if we made a big play for him, why not? Why not go for him? Anyway, that's just my thought process. Let me know what you think. Max Aarons. Now, I know what you're thinking. You see this name and you think, Chig, you've really bought into the hype, haven't you? I must admit, I went through a stage 2-3 years ago. You would have found a video from me saying that Jack Grealish was nothing but a brummy B-Tech version of Jack Wilshere. I would have said something along those lines. I've never particularly rated him until the last year or so. I like what he does, man. The guy's good. He's very good, very, very confident, dictates that Villa midfield. And I know you probably sat there thinking, wait, aren't Villa like flirting with relegation right now? How good could he be? So let me throw... I'm not one for stats, but shit, this is a video. So let me throw some stats for your ass. Now, can you believe that from open play, Jack Grealish has created 58 chances. 58, which is the most in the league, which I must admit I was shocked by. I thought surely not more than Kevin De Bruyne. No, more than Kevin De Bruyne. From open play, 58 chances. 58 chances he's created. In addition to that, if you include free kicks and open play, it's 63 chances he's created for his teammates. Now, obviously, in a Villa team, that's going to be wasted. In an Arsenal team, actually, depends if Lacazette's still up front, it might be wasted. but but yeah, I mean, 63 chances from open play, which is fifth in the league. Which when you take a step back and think, actually, yeah, all right, there are some big boys in there in terms of who you're looking at for top four. But for someone who is flirting with relegation and is creating 63 chances for his mates, that ain't bad. That is not bad. And for all of those people saying, oh, but James Maddison's better. Little fun fact. If Jack Grealish is creating 63 chances from open play and free kicks, what do you think the number for James Middleton, Maddison is? Maddison. Let me speak. Maddison is 29. 29 chances James Maddison has created for his teammates. So when you look at it like that ain't bad, you know. And I think when you're looking at us, I think our midfield for a long time has been a problem in terms of balance, in terms of the right fit or the right type of DM, the right type of number 8, the right type of number 10. You've got a player in Jack Grealish that can play as a number 10 or a number 8. And I think given those numbers, I mean, I saw some people that were massive advocates of Fraser due to having high numbers like that. So why not take a Jack Grealish and see what happens? You know? I think he's going to be highly desired because if Villa go down, I'm not necessarily convinced they will, but if they do go down, you best believe people are going to be after Jack Grealish. We need to be near the top of that list. I hope we don't go crazy for him in terms of bidding, but I think anything around the 30 to 35 million, I think would be worth the purchase. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, option number 3, Emilio Buendia, or Emi Buendia. I'm hoping I'm saying that name correctly. You guys know I stay butchering names. Norwich central midfielder. People have asked me about this guy before in the chat room. And I like him, you know. I'll tell you what, this is a big statement that I'm about to make. He feels like a Lucas Torreira type, but potentially better? Oh my gosh, did I say that? Oh gosh, that's going to trigger so many people. Hear me out before you lose your minds. He's had a tally high of 57 tackles in the league so far this season. So my man is an absolute beast. But he's not a defensive midfielder. In a similar way, because people forget, we didn't buy Torreira as a defensive midfielder. He was just a midfielder who pressed. And I think Emilio Buendia is of the same ilk. He's another one who's a central midfielder who just presses, runs and presses, and has turned into Norwich's main aggressor this season. Added to that, he has 7 assists to his name this season. Great pass to the ball, very aggressive, always seeks on the ball. He's someone who, you know the way we die in games, and you're looking for someone to just go out and just press opposition and close them down. Buendia is that guy. Constant nuisance for Norwich, and I think would be an interesting choice for Arsenal. It's a left-wing choice. It's a choice that not a lot of people would see coming. It's a choice where people would be like, ugh, Buendia. Why not just go and get someone like exciting? But I'll tell you what, for a team that may not have money, and Norwich are pretty much dead certs to go down this season, I could see them letting him go for 10 to 15 million. And let's face it, that's the ballpark money that we're messing around with these days. Especially if we don't get into the Champions League, we don't get into Europa, we've really got to be realistic. This could be that guy. So Emilio Buendia, I think that could be a nice little shrewd move for Arsenal. Alright, so this is one that me and your boy Lee Gunner have been preaching about for a while, and that is Nathan Ake. Now, the likelihood is that will Arsenal buy a Nathan Ake if Mari does well, and we're obviously able to get him for 7 million? The likelihood is probably no. I can understand that. My personal opinion is I feel like we need to get rid of at least two of our centre backs. The two that I personally opt to get rid of is Mustafi and Socrates. Or to be honest, it'd be Louise, but I'm being realistic. They ain't going to get rid of Louise after 1 year, so I'm trying to be realistic. So it'd be Mustafi or Socrates. Maybe one of Holding and Chambers as well. But I think let's go with that. Mustafi or Socrates. And I think if that happens, Arsenal should really be looking to bring in two, regardless of how well Mari does. So yes, I'd like to bring on Mari, because I think my suspicion is he'll do well. Having said that, I think Nathan Ake is your guy to play alongside Saliba. Now, I know with Nathan Ake, he is susceptible to injuries. He has had a couple of bad injuries over the last couple of years, really. And people might look at Bournemouth's position and think, huh? And you want to bring Nathan Ake in? Let me tell you something. Bournemouth's woes have nothing to do with Nathan Ake, apart from the fact that he's been injured for most of the season. It's because of the fact that they can't score goals. They've had like 20, I think they've scored 25 goals all season. So it's more about the fact that they can't get a foothold in the game. Not to say that they've defensively been perfect, but it's more about the fact that they can't score goals for them. I think Nathan Ake would be a great sign-in. Someone who's another left-footed centre-back, tall, young, still young. I think he's 24, probably be 25 by the summer. But Premier League experience, Dutch international, and I think I've just got a feeling it would be a nice combination alongside Saliba. You know, both are tall guys. I think they're the same height. I think they're like 6'3", both of them. Both are very much ball-playing centre-backs. So if you're still in love with this playing from the backside stuff, you've got two guys, a right footer and a left footer, who are perfect at doing that. You know, and I think that's the whole point. If you're playing football from the back, I don't necessarily mind it, as long as you have players that are capable of doing it. Because I see the sense in it. The sense is you want to encourage players to attack you so that it just opens up the game more. I completely get the logic of it. But when we're doing that with someone like Socrates, who has confessed himself that he's not overly confident on the ball, I think that's where we have just gone completely wrong in recent years. Whereas having Nathan Ake, I think you'll be able to do that. They're two very capable defenders. And I think they'll be able to help him out. You know, Ake's not so old where Saliba can't relate to him altogether, because obviously by the time Saliba comes on board, he'll be 19. But at the same time, you know, Ake has enough Premier League experience now. He can obviously help a Saliba develop. And this is kind of what you want in a team. To me, I think he'd be a quality addition, especially if Bournemouth go down. And I didn't think that would be an actual possibility, but I honestly believe that they'll try and stay so loyal to Eddie Howe that it may actually cost him. And I know people are looking at me thinking, yeah, what did you say about Eddie Howe? For me, I still think Eddie Howe's a good manager. I just clearly something has badly gone wrong this season. And it just might be a case of, you know, the two parties have stayed together for too long. That's all it is. But anyway, I digress. For me, Nathan Ake would be a proud number 4 for me. Okay. So, fifth and final choice of realistic Premier League players that I think we should look to improve our squad in the summer. Well, before I mention who number 5 is, let me give some honourable mentions. One of them is Jimenez for Wolves. To be honest, I was this close putting him in. I felt like the way we're going to generate cash this year is by selling our 2 strikers. I think he'd be a good one to replace one of them with. Big target man, got Premier League experience, scores goals. He's 28, 29, something like that. So would be eager to improve himself even at this late stage of his career. but I think would be a very good addition. But I've left him out for the same reason that I'm going to tell you the second honourable mention that I've left out, and tell you the reason why I left him out. It's the same reason I left them both out, and that is Wilfried Zaha. I think this player would have been more of an Emre type of player than an Arteta sort of player. Arteta's more about the passes and the intricacies, whereas Emre was much more of the kind of a counter-attack, powerful running, direct running. And I think that's where Zaha would have been perfect for him. Whereas with Arteta, I'm not so certain he will be. But for me, I've never been a huge fan of his. But the reason that I've included him is that I think alongside Pepe could be a very good combination. Especially if you have a big target man on top of there. So you have, almost in a Liverpool sort of style, you have just two dynamic winners with a hard-working striker. Yeah, I'd be all for it. I'll be real with you. I'll be all for it. I think a lot of our problem this year has been the fact that our balance is poor. And we don't have a manager yet who's capable of making a big decision and leaving a couple of big players out in order to have balance in the team. And I think if you sell our two strikers, one of which wants to leave anyway, and the other one can't think of a good quip right now, but he couldn't score in a brothel. So to me, I feel like the best thing to possibly do is just sell them both. That's my personal opinion. And then I'd bring in some quality around our team. Even if you want to go with Martinelli up top, but you've at least got options is the point I'm making. But I digress, because none of those are my number 5 choice. My number 5 choice is Dean Henderson from Sheffield United. And you're probably like, huh? How did I go from an attacking choice to a goalkeeper? For me, I'm still not 100% sold on our goalkeeper situation. I'll be real with you. I am still not 100% sold on it. I think the reason that I didn't go for Zaha or Jimenez, because I forgot to tell you the reason I never went for them, is I think ultimately both clubs had asked for too much money. We know Palace want at least 80 million for Zaha. After at least this, as I record this, he's certainly not worth that. And Jimenez, I think Wolves would be crazy to sell him to us for anything less than 40 to 50 million. Especially to, let's face it, who they view as our top 4 rival. So, but I think with Sheffield United, so this is their first season at them achieving something like this. They're flying high, I think they're like 6th right now. They're doing everything, but they're playing out of their skins. And a lot of their players are being looked at. We were being looked at, 2 of their players. I think John Fleck was one of them, and the other one, I forget the name of, is it Badlock was the other player that we were being looked at. Whereas I think personally, their goalkeeper is going right under the radar until perhaps most recently where United have been linked with him. But I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper, 22 years old, great shot stopper, great handle of the ball. And actually, to me, if I'm looking for competition for Leno, this is the guy. Because you guys know I'm not overly sold on Leno just yet. I'm not overly sold on him, but I do think he's a good keeper. But I'm yet to be convinced. I'm yet to see him and think, yeah, that's my number 1. Don't know why. Just I haven't quite got there with him yet. And I think with Martinez, I'll be honest, I don't think he's good enough. I never really had the feeling that he was going to be good enough. I've not seen anything of him in the cup competitions to suggest he'll be good enough. And I think from my perspective, I think you strengthen iron with iron, and you bring in someone of quality in who may cost you 20 to 25 mil because he's an English player, so you know it's going to be expensive. But I think in the end, might turn out to be a very, very good purchase. Just someone to keep, almost like the Hector Bellerin situation. Someone you bring in to keep on their toes. Now, you probably thought, well, why have I done this video? I think for me, the Liverpool blueprint is what we need to go for. I think I always credit this to Kenny Ken because Kenny Ken was the one that made this point to me. And I thought, well, Yeah, why don't we do that? If you look at Liverpool's purchases on the way to them blazing the title the way they have this season, right? They've targeted Premier League talent. I mean, really think about it. Mane they got from Southampton. Um, Lallana they got from Southampton. But admittedly, a lot of these players they got from Southampton. Van Dijk they got from Southampton. I'm trying to think now. Robertson they got from Hull. Milner they got from City on a freebie. Henderson they got from Sunderland when Sunderland were in the Premier League. This is most of their team. These are most of their key players here. So I think from our perspective, why are we not doing something similar? Ultimately, we're going to have to look at the level that we're looking at. You know, these kind of teams are on their way down. They may be selling their players for cheap. But for me, this is the sort of formula we need to try and replicate. So that's my view. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I know I've been trying to get this video out for you for ages, and just my primary work is taking over my life at the moment. But hopefully I've got this out to you now, so you can enjoy this for tonight. Tomorrow I will do a live show with you guys again, just to make up for me not doing a live show in the last couple of days. Thursday I'll probably do an early preview. And then Friday, Saturday, we'll see how we get on. Friday, I'll probably do a show with Ola, and then we'll go from there. All right? All right, guys. I'm out of here for now. Enjoy the vid. Let me know what you think. Take care. Peace.